Hello, my friends, relatives, esteemed colleagues. I was asked to address perianal abscess fistula. And I did not have any idea how many people suffer from this problem until I went to check it up. Now, what is this abscess? What am I talking about? Around our anus, between the two sphincters that control our bowel movements, we have a group of anal glands. And these anal glands can get inflamed and filled with pus. We say infected. Why we say infected? Because we always jump on the visible culprit, which is bacteria in this case. And bacteria's Streptococcus, Staphylococcus, Escherichia coli are always being blamed, depending what they found in the area at that time. Well, these are bacteria that are regularly present in our colon, in our intestines. And blaming them to create this problem, it's another absurdity that we always do. Why? Because we know jack shit about what is going on, because we are using this false knowledge being given to us by the schooling and indoctrination process. And this is why we can never resolve a situation. So people who start having problem with these anal glands, and problem comes always, why do we know we have a problem? Well, we are irritated. It becomes uncomfortable. So, gotta drink my plasma. So, any type of irritation, which is usually caused by inflammation, increased pressure on sensory nerves, bring discomfort and pain. And people who have a problem with our anal glands are usually being treated with antibiotics, either orally or injected directly into blood. Now you have a problem with little sacs in your anus, and you are polluting, you are intoxicating your whole body because of that. Another smart thing we are being told by our medical professionals. So, to understand what brings this problem, we should really go into the true science. Forget about the medicine. What doctors are saying, it's baloney because they don't understand it. So what ends up happening, you are being poisoned with antibiotic, which basically shuts down your cellular system. So if there was inflammation, it is not going to be occurring anymore. Sometimes anti-inflammatory can be being used as well, but this doesn't resolve the problem. So what ends up happening, that people who have these problems, which are then becoming chronic because they are not being addressed properly, you have a buildup of pus which has to be then surgically removed. And mostly people that have a problem with perianal glands ulcerating, then surgical procedure is being done where cut is opening the gland and squeezing the pus out, and then applying, of course, antibiotic again. So what happens after this? You are fine for some time until, bingo, it happens again. Why is this happening? No, we are being told, well, if you have a problem with a bowel movement, hard feces, constipation, most likely you are going to develop this problem. But then again, it's noticed that people that have otherwise problems with digestion, like irritable bowel syndrome, they also are more prone of developing this disease, problem, whatever you want to call it. And then again, people with diabetes, again, are more prone to it. The abscesses. And keep in mind that usually people who have this problem with perianal abscess, they have a bad skin in general. Okay, and they have problems with abscesses in different places, very often. Especially if they are heavier, wherever there is more sweating going on and rubbing, irritation, bingo, between the thighs, for example. Now, we are always, since we are trying to be treated symptomatically, then applying creams directly on a place, well, this is a better solution. Even antibiotic directly on a place, it will absorb itself and pollute less the body, but still it gets into bloodstream and affects the whole system. And antibiotic is a poison. So we know by now that bacteria is not causing anything. It feeds on the garbage. So there is already garbage there, and this garbage could be even the pus, which bacteria are going to feed on. So they will congregate there. More bacteria, more food, more bacteria. So this is why we see this problem in people that are toxic and dehydrated. What are these anal glands for? Well, they secrete mucus. The harder stool you have, the more pressure it is going to be put on anus as you are evacuating, and this pressure will squeeze those anal sacs, releasing more mucus, a lubricant, so the feces can go easier out. Of course, many animals, mammals and insects, but mammals in general, are using these glands to push pheromones out. And this is why you see dogs sniffing each other's butt, because through pheromones they have information about what is going on, and if the bitch is in heat, the pheromone is going to be stronger and the dog will get crazy, trying to hump her, of course. So this also contributes to smell in general. But in this case, what is important to know, that the purpose of these glands is to lubricate, especially anus, and this is why they are right in where anus is closing down. It's a narrow is between the two sphincters, internal and external, right there. Now, before you get pus accumulation and you get what we call the abscess, there could be irritation going on, just discomfort. You go to bathroom, a little pain, more pressure, you put more pain. So it could be very easily confused with hemorrhoids. The pain is caused by the same thing, but in two different settings. When perianal glands or anal glands become inflamed, they become more sensitive. More inflamed they are, the more sensitive they become. You can have pain going to the bathroom, and you start putting the cream for hemorrhoids. Well, it's analgesic, and it is all going to calm this as well. So you don't really know if the pain is caused by anal gland or hemorrhoid. You just assume. Doctors do the same thing. Does it matter? Not really. Because if you have a problem with hemorrhoids, this is inflammation of veins around anus. Well, why you have this? Problem is dehydrated, acidic, toxic blood. Well, if it inflames your hemorrhoids, it is going to inflame your anal gland as well. I explained that the more dehydrated our cells, the less they can cleanse. The more you make organ work and it cannot rehydrate itself on a cellular level, the faster you are going to have some chronic malfunction in this organ. If you suffer from hard stool and you are dehydrated, which you are dehydrated, and this is why you have hard stool. But now, increased pressure every time you go to bathroom squeezes more of the lubricant out of your anal gland, which anal gland has to recover. To recover it, it needs plasma. Blood is toxic. It does not want to hydrate with toxic blood. Blood is toxic because it's dehydrated. Cleansing organs cannot cleanse it. So now we are coming into same situation with this gland, like it is with hemorrhoids, like it is with any inflammation in our body. That the anal glands need to produce mucus, they don't have enough water. So the override comes in of forced hydration, inflaming the tissue of anal gland to squeeze physically extra water into the cells of anal glands, so then they can cleanse themselves and they can also produce more mucus. And this forced hydration we call inflammation, and as soon as it increases the internal pressure of the tissue, puts more pressure on sensory nerve, and we feel it as discomfort, first as an itch and then discomfort and pain. And since we don't do anything about it, or we do the wrong thing by suppressing, always take a painkiller, take anti-inflammatory, take analgesics so you don't have the sensation of discomfort, well, but we are leaving these cells dehydrated and acidic and toxic. And after a while, body has to find a solution because toxic material accumulates there, has to be taken out. Your white blood cells may get involved, but usually this is not enough. It's way too much for them to handle, so bacteria join up. So if we find bacteria, bingo, this is it. That's the bacteria that's causing it. Has nothing to do with this really. It's a collateral thing. The problem is dehydration on circulation level. Blood is way too dry, doesn't have enough plasma. And this is why the cells, this is why it's toxic, number one, because it cannot be cleansed like this. And this is why cells become dehydrated, cannot function properly. An organ that is forced to perform more than others shows problem first. And this is why you have this formation. Now for you, you can keep poisoning yourself with antibiotic, which is basically putting a patch over it temporarily. So you have temporary relief until this becomes ineffective, and then you need help of surgeon that basically comes and cuts it up and let the garbage out. Now, you feel good afterwards and say, oh, thank God for surgeon, now I am fine. Well, you are fine for time being because you did not really do anything to help yourselves. So very quickly after that, bang, 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 and another one will happen. So you'll need another surgical intervention. This is not solution. This is perpetual business for doctors. Chronic problem for you. So what do we do? How can we solve this and resolve the situation? SHP, Self-Healer's Protocol. Again, one protocol for any disease. Because we are not sick, we are toxic. We have to detoxify the body. We have to hydrate it to be able to do this. And to hydrate it, we need huge amount of minerals that come into our body through salts. So we need huge amount of salt. The more, as soon as you have one chronic issue, you are extremely dehydrated. Your urine shows you it's dark, it's smelly. Should give you the first hint. So, when you start hydrating and you give enough minerals to the body, first you will cleanse the blood. As soon as blood is clean, after about 3 weeks, your cells start absorbing your plasma from the blood. And they start healing themselves. They start throwing the toxic garbage, of course, back into the blood. So your symptoms return until the overall toxicity diminishes in the body. But after 3-4 months, you are not going to be anymore developing any problem with perianal abscesses or fistulas. I'm cleansing myself. So, simple solution. Extremely cheap. And anyone can do it in their own home. They don't have to go anywhere. Just start hydrating and of course correct your diet, because the wrong diet often prevents cellular hydration. because the wrong diet is based on vegetables, and plants protect themselves through toxic substances they produce. Most of them are proteins, but also phenols. And they prevent cellular hydration even if your blood is perfectly hydrated and clean. So you have to be careful also what you eat during the process. But done correctly, this is why Self-Healer's protocol has the two parts basically. One is hydration and cleansing, and the other one is changing the genetic expression through dietary changes. You have to start eating correctly so your body can work correctly. And your problems are solved forever. No more abscesses, not only perianal, no more hemorrhoids, but no more abscesses in your body, no more bad skin. Everything cleanses. Topical application of medicines on the skin to help the skin is poisoning your body, because it gets absorbed, goes into the blood, and increases the toxic level of already toxic blood. In which way, shape, and form can this be helpful to you? It can't. But it can interfere with self-healing process, which inflammation is part of. And by deflaming you, you feel better, and medicine is helping. It's temporary relief and worsening of a situation overall. So, always, when you have problem with health, the first action is hydration, not with water. Water is not electroconductive. You need plasma. So, water with sea salt, seawater, diluted seawater, perfect stuff. And you quickly raise plasma level in your blood, and your cleansing organs spring into action, and you get cleansing, blood cleansing symptoms. Fever, nausea, diarrhea are the main ones. When diarrhea shows up, nourish it. Drink as much plasma as necessary to keep it going, because this is your fastest detox valve. And the more diarrhea you have, the faster you are going to detoxify, and least amount of side effects, side problems, like inflammations on the skin and pain, headaches, and internal pain, inflammations you will have, because you will be releasing these toxins from your blood much faster, and these toxins in your blood are the ones that promote all these symptoms of so-called diseases. Extremely important is to evacuate daily, but to have soft pasty stool. As soon as there are hard pieces, you are dehydrated. Your body is trying to reabsorb as much of clean plasma it can get. So what is still semi-soft is because it's toxic mucus still coming out of you. But the harder formed feces is where the cleaner plasma was, and body reabsorb it right back in because it's deficient in it. So keep drinking more plasma. We just have to understand the process. But it's very difficult when every symptom of healing is we know as a symptom of disease. So it happens, oh, you get nausea, oh, this salt is not good for me, it's making me nauseous. No, I cannot, maybe for you, but for me. Or give me diarrhea. No, 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 it's bad. I'm losing too much water. No, you are losing toxic stuff. And you have to drink, not water, because you are going to demineralize your body and electric flow is going to be interrupted. This is bad. You need plasma to maintain the proper electric flow and let stuff go out. You can drink easily 10 liters of plasma a day, every day for 2-3 months, not having any health issue other than you are cleansing. You will have diarrhea, you will be cleansing. So this way also keep in mind that your excrement, your feces is actually your dipstick for hydration. You can't have hard stool, especially not if you are suffering from perianal abscesses. You have to have it soft. Not only so it's less painful to go to bathroom, but you are not irritating, you are not squeezing these glands. And you're allowing them to hydrate, but to maintain soft stool, do not use remedies, because they are all producing toxic effects that prevent absorption of water back into the intestine. And this is why the stool is remaining soft even when there is not enough plasma in the blood. So don't think that you are doing yourself a favor by keeping the stool soft because you are drinking a lot of prune juice or because you are using whatever other remedy was recommended to you to maintain soft stool. The only way to maintain soft stool is through ingestion of plasma, because this way you are not poisoning yourself and you allow complete reparation of the system on every level. You cannot heal your perianal abscess without healing your skin, without healing your liver, your kidney, your brain, your eyes, and everything else. It's all same package. So if you suffer from perianal abscesses, use self-healers protocol, follow it. I guarantee that this is gonna go away and never come back again. Thank you for listening. Till next time, love you all.